expenditure and core metrics. So until here, what I dealt with is a lot of things which is known to most of us in terms of what these big retailers are doing right now. So what I dealt with till now was what are the retail trends, how the buyer behavior is changing, and towards that, how large marketeers are trying to adapt in terms of the strategy change. Just to recapitulate, going back to the previous slide, from what the strategy was to what the new strategy is, and towards that, what are some of the key themes around which they are aligning their efforts towards reaching to their end customers. Now that's what we did till now, and I'll get to the more interesting part, which is in terms of strategies to reinvent the in-store experience. Now, why I would say reinvent the in-store experience? The reason I would say that is given the number of devices, given the number of channels which are coming, now the real question comes for most of the retailers who had the in-store, which is the physical store, is what's the relevance of the physical store? First of all, the physical stores take so much amount of money to kind of have the real estate, stock the inventory, and actually have a storefront with quite a few of their own customer associates or their own people who are going to take care of running the shop. And ultimately, if that's not really translating to a lot of sales, then what's the relevancy of that? Now that can be a straight question which can come to most of us. If you date back to probably a few decades, there's something which happened in the US and the Europe markets where there was this catalog, the physical paper catalog, which came in the 80s and 90s, and it was kind of talked about that that's going to kind of eat away or move away the sales from the physical stores, and the physical stores will lose relevance. So there's a lot of talk which has been happening around, yes, the online is the place to be in, and the physical stores have no place, right? So given these various thoughts or schools of thoughts, it's one thing is pretty clear. Unless the physical store finds its own place and the reason why the customer should come there, it will lose its relevance, right? And towards that, what are these different retailers trying to do, and where is the trend headed towards? Is what I'm going to deal with in the future slides. Right? The physical store needs to be, in terms of what it should be, relevant to its customers. It has to embrace technology and work seamlessly across channels, irrespective of online or offline. The experience should be seamless to the end customer. It has to play a complementary role, blending with online channels for enriched customer experience, and it, of course, needs to run with increased cost efficiencies. So these are the challenges in front of the in-store experience, or rather, let me say, for the stores itself. And towards this, I'm putting up a really important theme in the slide. What the answer to this is, again, e-commerce, but this e-commerce is not the online e-commerce as in the electronic commerce, but it's all about experience to the end customer, and it's called experience commerce. Right? So the experience commerce is all about the customer would come to the store if there is a specific experience which makes a difference to the customer compared to what he or she would have got otherwise, right? So the store needs to reinvent and be relevant to give this experience. And around that, I'm going to take examples in the upcoming slides in terms of what some of the retailers are doing across the world. I'll start with one of the examples, which is the Apple Genius Bar. I think quite a few of you who have been to the US might have visited the Apple Genius Bar. If you've let's say bought an Apple product, you can see, and if you've gone to a store to buy it, you would have seen that Apple has divided its store into two parts. One is the place where the actual products are marketed, and there's another place which is called as the Apple Genius Bar, where there are a set of technical support folks who are there, right out there, waiting to assist their customers in terms of fixing the devices. Right, so it's more of a support roles which these guys are playing, and they are there as part of the Apple Genius Bar. Now, why I took this as an example is if you look at it, let's say there's a buyer of an iPhone or let's say an iPad. Not many of them are probably techies, right? So the people who are techies can pretty much pick up and start using it. There are quite a few of them who are not really having a technical bent of mind, who are probably, let's say, 80% of the people who are going to use these gadgets, find the initial few hours or the few days of buying a gadget that much more intimidating to be able to set up and personalize and start using. And that is what Apple found in terms of some of their surveys, that their customers found that it was intimidating for them the first few days until they got used to it to use the product. What Apple thought is, can we actually set up this Genius bar, which as soon as the sale is made, the user can pretty much take it to the Apple Genius bar, and the technical assistant is going to walk through the features of the specific product in terms of what all capabilities can be used. And it's not necessarily after the sale is made, it can be before as well. And it can also help customize and set up the whole product for the user so that the user can walk off, or the customer can walk off the store as a happy man or a happy person, having seen through all the features and capabilities and is all set to start using it. Also, let's say a specific user has a tech problem, instead of going through endless calls and sending across the device and stuff like that, you can just walk into an Apple Genius bar and get it fixed right there. So Genius bar is a concept where it makes a difference as in terms of setting up a touch point with the end customer by solving the specific gap which the customers used to have as an end experience, which is the first few hours or first few days after the sale, when they face difficulties or technical issues in terms of using the gadget or the product itself. So, and what I'm getting to is engaging with the customer and giving them an experience is all that matters, and that's where an in-store really makes a difference, and this is one of the examples. Let me move on to another example of a retailer based out of the US, and this is JCPenney, which I'm taking. So JCPenney, if you've gone to the store, this is a large departmental retail store in the US, and they have a very old store, probably many decades old, and most of the American people know the store. But the thing what they were facing is there are a lot of challenge from the other retailers out there, and their physical stores, the maintenance cost was going high, and they had questions about the relevance. So what I put in the slide is actually what the recent CEO of JCPenney has actually envisaged for them. Now, the guy is actually Ron Johnson. He's the person who was behind Apple Genius Bar, which I showed in the previous slide as well. Is to kind of shift the strategy towards catering to the niche experiences of their customers, which is around specialty stores, it is no more like a departmental store giving everything to everybody, but it will have a lot of small stores inside. And if you see the two screenshots which I have put, where Ron is actually explaining out there, wherein they will have something called as a town square, and around that there will be a lot of stores, and each of the store will be a specialty store in itself, and the user can, or the customer can go ahead and buy the specific brand or specific niche item. So I'll go to the next slide out there, which kind of has some screenshots of their concept stores, what they're put in. If you see, there's one which is on kitchen items, there's another around some specific fashion apparels and so on. So each of these will be sub-stores within a store. It is a store within a store concept where each store is a specialty store, and it sends a differentiator, and it gives specific reason for the customers to get into the store, rather than saying, okay, I want to buy a specific pant. Instead, I want to buy a specific pair of pants which has this specific brand or this specific specialty differentiating from the others. Right? So this is what JCPenney is trying to do in terms of in-store to reach out to their customers. So I gave these two examples to begin with. Now I'll get to the next part, which is in terms of how technology will be used or is being used in quite a few of these stores to kind of make a difference in the store and make it relevant to the customers. The three important technologies which all of us have come across with and pretty much used, but together makes a lot of difference, are these three which I put in here. The first is RFID, which is the radio frequency ID detection. I put a sample tag out there as how it looks. The second is Wi-Fi, which most of us have gotten used to using it. And third, of course, is the mobile, which is ubiquitous. Right? So these three things together can be game changers for the in-store. And how is that? Let's look at it over the next few slides. Right? So let's talk about the RFID first. So RFID as a concept has been there for quite some time, as in at least 5 to 6 years. We've all been hearing about RFID for some time. Now, what is it different right now? The biggest difference is RFID as a technology has evolved over time, and it has got to a price point of in the US, let's say a few tens of cents, and in the India, for example, let's say a few rupees, wherein you can actually have a tag on a specific product, and if it is so small an amount for a tag, then the retailers can actually start using it. Now, what are the advantages of RFID? RFID does not really need a line of sight, as in most of us, when we go to a store, right, and go ahead and buy something, there will be the scanner which is going to scan the price, and it's going to add to your bill list. Now, what RFID does is it doesn't need this line of sight. It doesn't need the optical line of sight. So it can be in a radius of let's say 100 meters, where in which and a specific RFID detector can pretty much read an RFID tag and know the inventory status. So what this does, it does a lot of things to the retailer. So the retailers do not need to spend a lot of effort sending their store associates and the store people going around counting the inventory, stacking up the inventory, positioning it the right way, and things like that. So they go ahead and let's say stack it out once, and if you see the picture what I put in here, I've marked it as smart shelves. So what the smart shelves are is, at any point in time, let's say the count of the number of razors of Gillette, for example, which is in the store, is available at a central location, and as soon as something is picked up by a specific user or a customer, it kind of reduces the count. So there is no need for a store associate to go ahead and probably check out in terms of what's the inventory, should that be stacked further, and things like that. So this reduces a lot of manual labor or intervention which is needed, and the store assistants can instead spend their time engaging with the customers. The same time which they would spend probably stacking up inventory could be spent on engaging with the customers, answering their questions, and walking them through around. Right. So that is one of the big change with RFID does in terms of smart inventory management and reducing the amount of effort spent on managing the inventory. Right. So let me get to the next part, which is in terms of the wireless and the mobile. What are the advantages which is going to give? The first is in terms of anywhere, anytime cashless checkout. So with mobile, we can introduce cashless checkouts easily, wherein the user need not kind of stand in a long queue at the end of the store to buy the specific product. There can be mobile devices through which the checkout can happen at any place in the store. Right. So I'll go through some examples in the future slides. The second, I put quite a few examples, primarily out of the US in terms of Nordstrom, JCPenney, Walgreens. Also in the UK, there are Tesco and these other companies which have already adapted or are adapting to it, and they are doing some of the trial runs in some cases in terms of enabling a mobile checkout within the store. So what this does is reduces the amount of time the store, let's say the cash register, reduces the amount of time a customer has to stand in front of the cash register. It also reduces the number of people who are probably required at the cash register to be able to make the sale, right? So this makes a lot of difference, and it's of ease. Next is the mobile provides location-based opportunity to provide location-based ads. Let's say, let's take a case, right? So let's say you're driving across a specific store. Let's take an example. Let's say Big Bazaar. You're just driving across, and you have a mobile app of, let's say, Big Bazaar, which is put on your phone. I'm just taking a case example. It's not necessarily that Big Bazaar has an app right now, but I'm taking an example for you to kind of think through this scenario. Let's say you get a pop-up on your mobile saying that there is this discount running in the store, and you might just be interested, and you might kind of walk into the store. So it's more of as you get closer to the location, and there's an ad which kind of prompts a user to be able to walk in, right? So that makes a lot of difference. So companies like Nordstrom, which is an apparel store in the US, is trying this. There's this Walgreens, which is more on pharmacy, has introduced some of the mobile apps and has tried this location-based ads and promotions. And there are a lot of these mobile apps which are relevant as well. As example, on the pharmacy side, for example, Walgreens has the prescription apps, let's say there's a prescription and it's a refill, as in you're taking it on and on as a repeat thing. So you just click off an app, it gets delivered to on your app, and it gets delivered to your doorstep. So apps like that which are very relevant. And I put another example of an app. I'm going to go through these as we go to future slides as examples. There's a sunglasses app by Nordstrom. I'm going to talk through these. So there's a summary in terms of how the wireless and the mobile can be a game changer in terms of cost advantages, in terms of how the stores can be laid out, and in terms of the end customer experience itself, in terms of solving quite a few of their pain points in terms of long queues or whatnot. Right, let me get to the next part, which actually has a screenshot of the Walgreens mobile point of sale, which is anywhere, anytime checkout. So you can see that the store associate is having a mobile checkout device, and buyer just chose what he wanted to buy, and that was just scanned into the shopping cart into the device, and the buyer pretty much gives a card, and the sale is done right there, and there's no need to kind of go and stand in front of a cash register. There's a kind of visual example of this. Let me go to the next one, which is a mobile app which Walgreens is planning to roll out. In fact, they would have trial tested in a few places already. Let's say you have this app on your phone, and you have your regular shopping list. You just have your shopping list in the first screenshot, and then you select. You say, this is what I want to buy. Where do I buy it? Let's say you are driving in your car, and it pretty much says which is the closest store, which shows, let's say, a red store, which is red ball out there shown up, which is the closest store, which is to where you are, and you can pretty much, the app goes next and says, if you go to the next slide where I am showing up, as in which are the places within the store. It goes and shows the store layout, which are the places within the store where you can find the products what you are looking for. So it has all those points which are shown up, and let's say you get into the store and you walk into those places and pick it up. It's that much more faster and easier for you to do this, right? And to take this a step further, there can be probably promotions which can start showing up on this app, saying that, let's say you went to the shampoo sale and you were about to pick it up. It says that if you're buying a shampoo, by the way, you can pick this up, which is like get one buy one free or whatever. So that gets to a lot of relevance at the point to make the sale, and that's what this app is trying to do. Right, this is an example of the Walgreens app. The other thing what I was mentioning, another thing what I was mentioning is a Nordstrom sunglass app. Now this is a pretty simplistic app. What it does is it takes pictures of you while you're trying your sunglasses. I mean, all of us, most of us at least, would have tried a pair of glasses to buy at a store, would have tried different frames and seen as to which one looks good on our face. So the real issue there is you would have tried one and you go to the second one and you might think, oh, you know what, by the way, the first one might have been looking better for me. So one simple thing which can happen is, let's say there's an iPad which is in front of you where the photograph is taken each time you try something. And all you do is put one next to the other, compare it out, and make the buy. Now, this is a pretty simplistic app, but it kind of powerful enough for the user to see the difference of what all he or she has tried and kind of make a choice, and it's that much engaging in terms of user experience, right? So further, let me get to another thing which is in the concept phase, and it has been kind of tested as well. We talked about mobile apps, we talked about mobile checkout. Prior to that, we also talked about inventory management to RFID. Now we'll talk about something else, which is about personalized shopping carts. Most of us who've gone into a shop, retail store or a grocery store would have seen the shopping carts, which are the trolleys which you pull around. Now how about, let's say it's a personalized shopping cart which has some intelligence built in. Let's say you have your card which is for the store. You have your card which is having your name and details as a person. And you swipe in the card to the shopping cart, and it says that this is the purchase what you made last time. And for this, more often than not, if it's grocery, for example, you might have a lot of repeat things. So it really gives you the path in terms of where to go in the store. And let's say it's an electronic trolley, you can pretty much sit, and the trolley takes you through the places. I'm moving to the next slide, wherein let's say you go and pick up a specific item, the trolley itself has a detector through which you can add to your shopping cart, which will be a virtual shopping bag, and you can the stores can actually do display of advertising on this terminal of the shopping cart itself as the user navigates to the various aisles of the shopping store, right? So that gives a location-specific display, and it reduces a lot of cost in terms of advertising. The amount of time, money, and the real let's say artifacts, as in let's say coupons, pamphlets, and whatnot, which the retailers are going to spend on to kind of do this advertising and promotions. All those are kind of contained, and all it takes is to make the advertising relevant at the point when the sale is made and has the best chance of conversion to a sale, right? And that's what can be achieved out of this this intelligent shopping cart out there, right? Also, the way the stores can be laid out can be less cluttered. If you go to, let's say, if you have walked into a food world, I think, or let me take the same name of Big Bazaar what I took. I mean, you would have kind of seen the amount of money they would have spent on hoardings to show sale, what a sale clearance, and 50%, 80%, or 100%, whatever and whatnot, right? All that money need not really be spent on putting up those big holdings, and all that can make a difference is to kind of relevantly show the right promotion and the advertising display at the right point to make the sale. And this makes a lot of difference in terms of cost savings and increases the conversions. Moving to the next, taking the same concept of this virtual or rather the self-assisted cart further, it can introduce concepts of self-checkouts, wherein the checkout can be done by pretty much on the cart itself by probably using your credit card, and you can put it into, you can check out on your own, and there'll be something called as the RFID deactivator. Now, let's say these are all stacked in shelves using RFID technology. So before it is taken out of the store, there can be an RFID deactivator where this gets deactivated and your sale is complete, right? So this technology makes a big change in terms of giving the experience to the end customer out here. It also offers a lot of cost savings advantages and lets the retailer make actual targeted ads, promotions, and do the right things for the end customer. Moving on to the next slide.